The Pacific Ocean is the largest wilderness on the planet, home to millions of species. Yet from Northern California to Alaska, the coast of the Pacific Northwest is threatened by industrial-scale offshore energy projects. There are plans to build hundreds of floating offshore wind turbines in the deep ocean, each over 1,000 feet tall. They require a global chain of extraction, large amounts of steel, copper, plastics, balsa wood, rare earths, and other materials linked to mining, habitat destruction, pollution, and human rights violations. Each turbine sits on a platform roughly the size of a baseball stadium. They are anchored to the seabed with massive cables and chains as thick as a human body. As ocean currents, waves, and wind move the turbine base, the chains drag across the seabed, stirring up plumes of sediment that can disrupt marine ecosystems and suffocate fish. Each turbine is connected to the grid through a cable that emits electromagnetic frequencies harmful to crustaceans, sharks, and other marine life. Hundreds and potentially thousands of turbines are being planned for the Pacific Northwest. Each would be nearly as tall as the Empire State Building, interlinked with hundreds of miles of electric cables and anchor chains. Factory-sized floating substations would gush boiling hot water into the ocean. Increased ship traffic and high levels of persistent anthropogenic noise would stress marine life, creating disturbance and displacement from traditional habitat and migration routes. Capturing energy from the wind modifies ocean currents that drive the upwelling of nutrients crucial for sustaining ocean life. Offshore wind turbines have a particularly large carbon footprint, in part due to the mining and refining required for rare earth metals, and the energy required for steel production. In a 2019 paper, York and Bell wrote that evidence from contemporary trends in energy production suggests that as renewable energy sources compose a larger share of overall energy production, they are not replacing fossil fuels, but rather expanding the overall amount of energy that is produced. More energy supply leads to more energy use, more development, more habitat loss, all of which worsens climate change and the ecological crisis. Protect the Coast Pacific Northwest is a grassroots organization dedicated to protecting the oceans by stopping all offshore energy projects. As people who love the oceans and recognize that climate change is a crisis, we oppose offshore oil drilling and so-called green energy projects like offshore wind. Both are major threats to the ocean.